If you are running or planning to run LinkedIn ads in 2021, then you're at the right video, as I'm going to share with you my latest and greatest strategies and tactical approaches to generate high converting B2B leads with LinkedIn ads to help you both generate and capture demand that can ultimately translate into business growth. So in the first part of this video, I want to quickly glance over some tried and true tactics from 2020 to refresh and show you what is still working. And then the second part, we're going to cover 2021 specific items. So we're going to talk about platform updates. We're going to talk a little bit about some strategies and tactics that were working well last year that will continue to work well this year, as well as some new ones. And then I want to share with you guys 3 of my favorite B2B ads that I've seen on LinkedIn recently and break it down for you guys to show you some elements that you can try to replicate in some of your own advertising efforts. And then the last thing, of course, is I want to share with you a B2B cheat sheet so that it can kind of go a little bit deeper into some of these creatives that we've seen and codify some of these performance elements, just to help, you, or if you have a creative team that you're working with to produce some better creative for LinkedIn ads to accelerate your lead and your demand generation. Now, before we dive into it, I think it's important to go back again to this point of why LinkedIn ads for B2B. Well, first of all, over 760 monthly active users globally. That's a pretty large network of professionals that go onto these platforms looking for, career growth, networking, and they're in an intention mindset. Now, then from a targeting capabilities perspective, you're able to reach them from a demographics perspective. So their region, their age range, the ability to create custom audiences so you can scale just like Facebook ads has. But more specifically, I think what's more important is the precision B2B targeting. So you can go after specific job titles. You can go after seniority levels. So you can focus on decision makers or influencers of a buying decision. You can go after job function, specific skills. So I think this is really where the bread and butter of LinkedIn is these targeting capabilities. And one of my favorites is account-based marketing. It's going after specific accounts that a business is trying to go after. And just to put this into perspective, just because I know a lot of people like to think that Facebook ads for B2B is more effective, and that might be because there's a bigger audience, right? On Facebook, there's over 2.7 billion monthly active users. LinkedIn only has, under 1 billion. But here's an example. If you went into LinkedIn ads and you were trying to target users in banking and finance, you'd be able to reach 6.2 million people based on the fact that when people go onto the platform, they self-report their titles and who they're working for. It's their incentive to accurately share this information. Now, if you went on Facebook ads, which covers Facebook and of course Instagram, there would be only 1.7 million people in that pool. So although there's more people on Facebook and Instagram, because there isn't the same incentive to self-report your job, your title, all that information, you're not going to match as many users as effectively. Now, a pro tip here is that you could still use other social media platforms to get you one step closer to your lead generation and demand generation goals, but just don't do it from a prospecting perspective. You can use them from a retargeting perspective so that if they've already been to your website and they're interested in your product or service, you could still stay top of mind cost effectively. But from a prospecting perspective, LinkedIn is still the breadwinner. Now, there's 3 things that really stuck out in 2020 that I believe still are true. Number 1, content is king. LinkedIn is very effective at getting content consumption. So people that are not necessarily ready or in market to buy your service, but maybe within the next couple of months or year they might be, this is a good opportunity to get in front of them with content such as white papers, trend reports, cheat sheets, downloadables, webinar. Get them into your funnel early so that when they are ready to spend $100,000 on a piece of software or $50,000 or $500,000 on whatever service you offer, they already know who you are. They're familiar, so they're more likely to consider you. Now, from a targeting perspective, persona segmentation is an absolutely crucial part of this. If you're just throwing a net into the water and just trying to catch all of the fish, you're not going to effectively use your dollars. You need to separate who are your decision makers and who are the enablers and influencers of the process, And that helps you to then get the right messages and understand what is actually moving the needle for the different audiences. And then the last part, of course, is the type of targeting that you're using. Job title targeting is going to give you the most accuracy. It's, of course, going to limit your scale, but it'll give you the best accuracy, especially if you know who is actually your audience. Now, if you layer that on with accounts, a list of companies that you're specifically trying to target, that's where it gets extremely effective. However, that might narrow the audience, but it'll increase the relevance. So these are three things that still continue to be true as we move into 2021. Now, the first key 2021 platform update I want to share with you is the new ad unit product that LinkedIn has that's been working phenomenally well. It's called a conversation ad unit. And the premise is that this is an ad that's going to show up in your InMail so that when someone logs on to LinkedIn and they go to check their messages, they'll be able to see a sponsored ad. Now, you could previously do this. The only difference is that now it's going to have a chatbot style functionality. So you can lead with a question, something to hook in your audience, and then they have the ability now to engage with different pieces of content. So they could literally go to your website directly. You can have a call to action that says, request a demo, for example, if you have a product demo that you offer to get people to submit, and get into your funnel. If you have a case study, you can push them to a case study. If you have a white paper, a piece of content, or a webinar. And the cool thing about this is that not everybody is going to be ready the first time they see your ad to engage for a demo or a consultation or whatever your conversion point is. So this type of ad unit gives the user the option to basically customize an experience based on where they're at. And because of that, we're seeing, really phenomenal results with that. Now, another thing is the ability now to do engagement retargeting. So now LinkedIn allows you to retarget anybody that's watched your video, whether it's they watched, 25%, 50%, 75%, 100%, which is phenomenal because if you're doing any upper funnel brand building efforts on the platform, now you can take advantage and retarget those users, especially the ones that watched, 100% or 75% of your video because they have a higher intent. Another thing you do, obviously, is retarget from a lead form. So if someone opens a native lead form within LinkedIn and they don't submit a lead, you could still keep the conversation going with those users, as well as retargeting people who engage with your event. So if you're creating organic events, it'd be great, to capture those high intent users and bring them into your funnel. And then the last thing that they've added and enhanced, no pun intended, is enhanced bidding. So now you have the actual ability to let LinkedIn take your money and maximize the impact of your campaign by using max delivery, for example. Max delivery, if you've ever ran ads on Facebook, it's kind of like lowest cost. It's basically telling the platform, get me as many conversions or as many actions as you can for my budget, which is great, especially if you're starting on the platform and you're not too sure what is your target cost per lead on the platform. Now, before we get too intricate in strategies for LinkedIn ads, I want to just quickly show you my standard LinkedIn funnel strategy flow. So usually when I run campaigns for clients, we're running ads, sponsored content, for example, which is the most popular. It's on the newsfeed. And we're trying to push people to submit their information to one or two places. So if you see a piece of sponsored content on your newsfeed, and if we're trying to push you to a landing page, the goal is to get your information to the landing page. If not, the goal is to get you to use via the native lead form, just submit your information directly through the platform. So that's usually the strategy. And then the idea is once you downloaded our piece of content, whether it's a white paper or a downloadable or a webinar, now you're going into our CRM system and our email automation platform, which is going to send you a series of emails to further nurture you. And depending on the activity that you do there, the emails that you open, if you go back to the website, for example, and you go to a very important page like a pricing page, through lead scoring, our sales team within our marketing automation platform, whether it's like a HubSpot or Marketo, is going to see, oh, wow, this person downloaded this piece of content. Then they went and opened 3 of our emails, and now they've gone to the pricing page. That is a high intent prospect. We're going to reach out to them. So this is a very standard strategy funnel approach that, I've used and seen a lot of success. And I would say it's probably one of the most standard, sophisticated approaches for LinkedIn ads. So in the following slide, I just want to build upon that with some 2021 specific guidance. Now, a lot of people try to get people to submit leads on their website. But if you're just starting off on LinkedIn ads, maybe you don't have the greatest landing page, or maybe you've been doing LinkedIn ads for a while, but your landing page isn't the best experience. So one thing you could actually test out is using sponsored ads to drive people to a native lead form and reduce friction. What do I mean when I say reduce friction? Well, if somebody goes to your website landing page and now they have to fill out their name, their email, the company, the job title, they have to fill out all this information. That's time and effort and energy. And if you think about when you go to buy something on Amazon, it's a couple of clicks, it's in your cart, and now it's getting shipped to you. So this ad unit, a native lead gen form within LinkedIn, will pop up instantly. So you don't even leave LinkedIn, and it'll actually dynamically populate, your information. So the great thing is that the user gets instant access to that piece of content. And, this has scalability because you can funnel all these leads using a Zapier, for example, into your existing CRM or an email automation and marketing automation platform. So it doesn't necessarily require any extra energy. Also, you can prompt the user at the top to put in their work email, because a lot of people on LinkedIn create their profiles with their personal emails, their Gmail emails, or side hustle email at their domain at another company. So you can get all the key information with these lead forms dynamically: name, company, market that they're in, job title, and then you could prompt them to put in their work email. So this is actually something that's seen a ton of success. There's a bunch of case studies that LinkedIn has put out, and it's probably underutilized. So definitely something to lean into for 2021 and test against driving people to your website landing page. Now, 3 specific 2021 strategies for platform success that I would say you need to keep top of mind is: number 1, content alignment. If you're trying to capture people who are not necessarily in market, so you're trying to scale your demand, cheat sheets, white papers are great because they're easy to digest and consume. An ebook, for example, takes more time and energy. A webinar takes more time and energy. So somebody that has expressed, maybe some greater level of intent with your business might be interested in those, or someone that's closer to buying. Also, case studies are great for someone who's in market and they're closer to making that buying decision. So you want to make sure you're very thoughtful about where your audience is in their journey and you have content for these different phases. Now, the next thing is it's absolutely crucial you're tracking your impact of LinkedIn ads with their insight tag. This is their pixel. It has to go on your website and your landing pages. So you make sure that, number 1, you're measuring the impact of LinkedIn ads on leads, but also that you can continuously have the platform optimized for you. Makes sense, right? Then the last thing is creative consistency, meaning whatever the message is and the design and the creative and the look and feel of your ads on the platform, that should match the experience when you get to the landing page. If there's a large disconnect between the way your ads on LinkedIn looks and the landing page experience, that's going to negatively hurt you when it comes to conversion rates. And it's not that difficult of a thing to have optimized for your content, especially if you're working with a graphic designer and or a developer, UX, UI designer. Now, to go a little bit deeper, this is actually something I do for all the clients that I work with. It's developing a persona and message matrix. So if you remember in some of the earlier slides, we talked about the importance of segmenting your audiences so that you can understand what creative and what messaging best resonates with each audience. So this is an exercise I do with all my clients that I identify, first of all, who are these key personas, right? Who is the decision maker in the process? Who is another influencer? And maybe who are other stakeholders? So in this example, I put here like the head of accounting would be a decision maker if you're trying to sell some type of, let's say, accounting software. They're going to make the ultimate decision because they oversee the department and they own the budgets. Now, a senior accountant might be using the software. So they're an influencer in this process. And if they think your accounting software sucks or they never heard of you, that is going to hurt you in the process of going from a lead to closing a deal with the accounting team if the boss is reluctant because he's never heard, or if the boss is like talking to his team and the team's like, oh, I never heard of this company. So it's important to market to those people as well. Now, also there's other people in the process that also impact the final decision. So when you're talking about budgets, the head of finance a lot of times has to sign off on these things. So it might be also important to market to them. Now, the thing is, you don't want to say the same thing to everybody because everyone has different incentives. For example, the final decision maker in the accounting role, they might want to save money and save time, and they might want something that's reliable. But to someone that's using your product or service, in this specific scenario, an accounting service, they might want the service to be reliable and easy to use. They might not necessarily care if it saves the company money. So it's so crucial to create one of these so that you can use to create a roadmap to A/B test messages against these different audiences and then look at performance to see what is actually working. And a lot of times I see that businesses use these learnings from paid media amplification on LinkedIn ads, and they actually inform other stakeholders like their email programs, copy on the website, their search campaigns. So definitely something super useful to have when you're starting off to make sure that you're properly aligning the audiences and the messages and that you can learn from this. Now, 3 essential research tactics that I always use and I recommend for you to lean into is number 1, if you're running search ads for your clients or for yourself, start there. Look at what are some of the top performing messages from your campaigns and use that to craft messaging and messaging pillars for your LinkedIn ads. The next one is if you've already put the insight tag, the tracking pixel from LinkedIn on your website, there's a demographics tool you can use within LinkedIn ads to see what kind of people are going to your website, what their titles are, where they're from, what companies they're at, and that gives you a sense of who this audience is to further customize any kind of messaging and targeting. And then the last one is, of course, using Google Analytics to review what are your top performing landing pages, markets, countries, states, demographics. This can help inform any new campaigns or existing campaigns so that you maximize your dollars where you naturally see the most amount of conversions. Now, this is probably the most important slide in this whole conversation. It's going back to this concept that your content is super important, but you have to make the right content for people depending on where they're at in their phase. So starting on the left-hand side, someone might not be aware that they have a need for your product. Then you have to move them to awareness. Then they're going to have some info seeking and evaluation criteria that they need to learn to see if you are a proper solution. And then it could take some time before they actually make that purchase decision. So in longer buyer cycles, that could be 6 to 18 months. Now, the kind of content that you need in that process is early on, you need to create thought leadership. You need to show that, hey, we know what this problem is and we know how to solve it. And you could do that through pieces of content like white papers, trend reports, and cheat sheets. Now, for people who are a little further, they already know they actually need your service. They need content that helps them make a better decision. So an ebook, for example, that can deep dive into the topic further, a webinar that can deep dive into the topic further in a different medium, or comparison guides of sorts. Now, once someone is deeper in the funnel, what is useful is showing case studies to further social proof why you should be the solution that they go with, or showing testimonials. Now, along the process, you should always have action driving tactics, which is retargeting anybody that's been to your website or engaged with your content and try to push them to a product demo, a trial, or an offer of sorts. But again, very important for you to have the right kind of content that's going to effectively seed these people to actually give you their information and hopefully convert them into a piece of business. Now, to kind of bring it all together, I want to align tactics, content, and audience for you guys. And the way I always start with all my clients for B2B is conversion, the bottom of the funnel. I'm going to try to capture as many people who are in market looking to for this product or service. So where I start there is with sponsored content on LinkedIn, conversation ads, and the goal is to always push the demo bookings or the trials. If you've been to the website, if you've engaged, with our lead form in the past, or some kind of high level action that I can retarget. And the KPI, of course, is how many bookings and trials are we getting. After we maximize that out, I then go up the funnel and say, hey, let's go prospect. Let's go target for people who aren't familiar with us with sponsored content, text ads, and conversation units, and let's get them to download a piece of content to get them into our funnel. And again, there might be some engagement, retargeting, but also prospecting is the lion's share of the investment here. And usually we're looking at some kind of combination between landing page views and engagements. Now, if you have content like blog articles, that could also be considered a part of consideration building content that you can A/B test, driving someone to a very important top performing blog post versus, a white paper or downloadable or some kind of cheat sheet content sort. Now, once I max that out, the next phase is going into brand building and awareness building efforts. And that's where video is phenomenal to drive awareness and message association. And usually that's also a prospecting play as well. But the KPI there is different. I'm looking just to capture share of voice, reach, and video views. So hopefully this gives you a holistic perspective of how those items come together. All right, so what makes a good piece of sponsored content on the news feed? So there's a couple of things. Number one, it should be visually driven, not text heavy. It should be eye-catchy, and it should be contrasting to the feed. Your branding should be prominent. If you notice in this ad, it's on the top left-hand corner. You can see user testing. The logo's right there. Usually people read left to right in the US market, so it's always good to have the logo and the branding up front on the left-hand side. The key message here is your brand still relevant? That is a strong headline. Whenever possible, you want to have your headline benefit driven so people see, what is, again, the benefit of, this communication of this brand, and is it worth my time? And also, as a best practice, you always want to have a call to action button within the visual part. So you can see in this one, it says get ebook. It's very descriptive. Now, a pro tip is whenever you have statistics and graphs, use that, because it's very visually thumb stopping on LinkedIn, because people are in an information seeking mindset often on the platform. Also, whenever possible, test using brackets in the headline, as that usually tends to see better click-through rate performance. Now, one example that I like here is Slack's ad, because it has all the elements I basically just mentioned. You see their logo prominently placed. You see a benefit-led headline. It says respond to leads 21% faster with Slack, and the CTA button's right there, and it's descriptive. It says watch now. So I know that this is a video of sorts. And then on the right-hand side, there's a visual that, I'm getting like targeting or precision. I'm getting this visual that helps to support the key message of being faster and sort of precise. Now, the next ad I want to share with you, the second of three, this one is from outreach.io, which I really love their ads. Once again, you see the logo top left corner, you see the key message that stands out, and a visual on the right-hand side that helps to support the communications, and then a CTA button that's also descriptive. It's telling you where you're getting an ebook. So there's no confusion when you click on that. And then their headline says, grab your copy of the ebook today. So overall, a pretty good ad within best practices. Now, the last one I want to share with you is one that I'm actually running for one of my clients. We have most of the best principles in here. The first thing you see is get more from your content. And it's a learn more CTA. There's a visual on the right-hand side. And, it's very bright, colorful. It pops from the feed, very effective. And this is a retargeting ad. And we've seen a ton of great success from this ad. So those are three, ads that encompass, these best practices that hopefully will help you craft some more effective advertising on LinkedIn. Now, if you want some more information how to make your LinkedIn ads and Facebook B2B ads more effective, I've put together a B2B cheat sheet that has a deeper breakdown of creative best practices from both static and video. And it has a few examples in there. Actually, it has a lot of examples in there for both, so that you can make better creative that can increase the conversion rates of your campaigns and can help you be more effective. Click the link below. I'm going to put it in the description for you guys, and grab your copy today. According to the latest survey from eMarketer, which asks B2B marketing professionals what marketing tactics they use the most, social media and social media advertising were listed at number 2, with over 75% of the respondents raising their hand. Now, if you don't feel fully confident with your current B2B lead generation strategy, then I recommend checking out our crash course, Social Marketing That Converts. In my opinion, it's the fastest way to develop a B2B lead generation strategy and plan that can accelerate your business growth. We actually guarantee it will increase the confidence in your social lead generation strategy in under 5 hours, or you can get your money back. Now, we've had over 500 people join the program, and here's what a few of them had to say.
Hi, my name is Maria and I'm a marketing professional based in Dubai. It really helped me to understand how the social media marketing actually works and how to build this sales funnel using content marketing and ad strategies.
I've never felt such peace after going through a course and discussing with Zaryn and watching some of his videos. The way he's able to combine strategy and tactics into one is very unique.
I just wrapped up my course with them, Social Marketing That Converts, and let me tell y'all here firsthand, I definitely recommend the course. It's amazing, it's easy, it's quick, and it's really simple to understand.
Social Marketing That Converts comes with a 100% 30-day money-back guarantee to ensure that there is absolutely no risk on your part at all. Increase your confidence in your social marketing strategy or have every single penny back. Now, if this interests you and you want to accelerate your business growth with a clear approach and step-by-step guidance, then click the link on the screen or in the description below to find out more about Social Marketing That Converts. Either way, I've hoped you've enjoyed this video, and if you do join Social Marketing That Converts, I look forward to seeing you inside. Until the next video, peace.